Okay, so we are now ready to start. So I want to welcome everyone. Welcome Wakana Nation. This is our very special training call designed to really show you how the money flows. Now, oftentimes in life, we always like the shortcuts. So we tend to log in our back office and we kind of think what we see is all we get, right? We don't really drill into it. And one of the things that happen is the company who we work with, who actually provide the software and the back office infrastructure, they actually have this feature called a dashboard. Okay, they rolled it out. It's a new feature they started with their clients probably about a year ago, and it's work in progress. But with the dashboard, a lot of times people think that it's all there is to their earnings, it's all there is to their team, and they get stuck here and we don't go further, we don't drill further, okay? In fact, if you were looking at this dashboard and you are Cora, you might think, wow, I've just earned $55. No, she's actually earned thousands of dollars, okay? And so how do we drill into that? How do we see exactly what we're earning and so much more? And so let's go ahead and take a look at that, okay? Because again, your dashboard is really designed to kind of show you just a snap picture of customers who you personally enrolled. It's going to also show you distributors who you personally enrolled, and it's going to show you sales that are happening on your first line. So it's not really drilling through your entire organization, showing you the bigger picture. In order to do that, you really want to pay attention to the left side over here, okay? And so this is basically your menu, okay? And your menu has many things that's going to really help you to empower your business. And so obviously, one of the first things that stick out is earnings, okay? If I go click on earnings, you're gonna notice you have your history. You're gonna notice you can update your payment method. You can actually go ahead and log into your e-wallet. So before we go through finding the history of what you've been paid, I wanna first show you what you need to know in order to access your money in your e-wallet. So if you click on e-wallet login, okay? That's a feature that many of you might be very familiar with. Some of you are just starting to learn and explore. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice, wow, her e-wallet balance is over $1,600, right? So if you were thinking your business is just what's on that snapshot, you have no clue, right? And this is money that's actually available right now for immediate withdrawal if Cora wanted to withdraw it. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, how do I withdraw the money? Now, in most cases, your 4-digit PIN is probably the last 4 digits of your ID. In the event you actually signed up after November 1st, chances are you might have picked your own PIN number. So hopefully you remember that. If for whatever reason you're trying to log in to your wallet, you can actually log in without a PIN. So I can just click in, it's gonna go ahead and log in automatically, right? But in order to cash out of your e-wallet, you actually have to know your PIN. So here's some features that I want to kind of show you for those of you who've just been wondering a little bit more about this e-wallet, okay? You're going to notice that there's different types of cash accounts, right? You have to and you have from, okay? Anytime you see a cash account where it's actually going from, right? It basically means that you've just received commission, right? So when it says to from, and then it says your name, that means you've just received commission. So you notice Cora has a lot of the froms, right? If it's to, it basically means you've either requested money or you've made a purchase. And so when Cora went out and made a purchase, it's gonna say, well, my name, because I'm listed as the owner of the account for Wakana for Life, but it's just like seeing Wakana for Life, okay? But so you're gonna see my name back there, but that basically means you spent money. She did a purchase, okay? In fact, here's another one where she did a purchase for $254. So when you're back there, you're looking for two things, right? You're looking for purchases. You're also looking for withdrawals, because you might do a withdrawal where you actually want cash received as a check. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, Cora hasn't done that. She's used hers mainly for actually making purchases. I think she might have requested a few checks in the past, but I'm going to show you right now, if you wanted to cash out this money, how you can do just that. So you're going to click on Cash Out Request. And it's going to actually give you a little bit of details there. It's going to also let you know that you're transferring funds from the Wakana for Life holding account. So our holding account, you might see this ID back there often, but that's the Wakana for Life holding account, right? And so then you just go ahead and click proceed. And after you click proceed, you actually get to decide how much money you want to withdraw. So let's just say I'm going to go ahead and I'm asking on Cora's behalf for a check of $1,000 to get sent to Cora. And so you would put whatever amount you're looking for. Just make sure that amount is less than the account balance, okay? You have to put a note. That note might be, can you please mail my check? That note might be, hey, listen, I want to pick up my check, right? There's many different types of notes that people put back there, but it's very important to know that you have to put something in order for this to work, because if you don't, it's going to tell you you can't move further until you put that note in. So I'm going to go ahead and type a note just because, again, you have to. So I'm going to say test during training call, okay? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the PIN, and then I'm going to hit transfer funds. Now it hasn't yet transferred them because in order for it to officially take it out of her account, I would have to confirm it, okay? And so it's going to show you, here's how much money you started with. It's going to show you, here's how much money you asked for. And it's going to show you, here's the transfer fee. There's actually $0 to go ahead and do that transfer. And then it's going to say account balance after transfer. It's going to let you know how much money is remaining. Now, if I hit confirm, this is going to actually drop into the Wakana wallet request area, and then we're going to be writing the check to Cora. Now, because it's a test, guess what we're going to do? We're going to hit back. And by hitting back, it just basically means we don't complete the request. Now, there's something that comes up oftentimes when people can't, for whatever reason, get access to their account. And so there's a way you can actually attempt to do this in your own back office. But if you have trouble and you're not able to get your PIN figured out, just go ahead and send that email to support@wakana.com. If you send that email, we'll go ahead and get your PIN reset. And typically, as long as you've sent that email in, just know, usually within 24 hours, you can try it again. And it's usually going to always be the last 4 digits of your ID number with Wakana. In case you don't hear back from someone, just go ahead and just assume that it's already done. Now, here's an area where you can actually take control over it for you. In fact, you can actually go look at your profile. And by looking at your profile picture, it's going to let you change your PIN. And it's going to even let you say, I've forgotten my PIN. So I'm going to go back to that one more time. If you go under my account, and if you click under profile, it's going to take you to an area that's going to have your image here, perhaps, or perhaps it's going to have a blank image, but it's going to let you change your PIN in the event you know your PIN, but many of you don't know your PIN, which means you have to click on I've forgotten my PIN. And as long as you know the security question that you started with and all those other details, 9 times out of 10, it's going to let you change your PIN. In the event it doesn't, again, send that email and we'll go ahead and change it for you. And so that's just some basic information as it relates to how do you get money from your wallet. Hopefully everyone has taken notes, you've taken some screenshots, and you know exactly how to pull that money out of your wallet. Now here's another question that comes up. Yes.
One question. You went to that where you got paid from and saw, what did you click? I didn't see what you clicked.
Oh, so I clicked on e-wallet.
Yes.
Login, then I logged into the e-wallet.
Right.
And then whenever we went to the, you're talking about for the overview? Or for the, yeah, for profile.
Overview, okay.
For profile. So go to my account and then click on profile. Okay, so my account, and then click on profile. And when you do that, it's going to take you to this area over here.
Not to change that, but when you saw what you got paid and when you requested.
Oh, gotcha. So here's how that works. Let's go back. So when you first log into the account, you're talking about this area here?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you first log into the account, I always say slow down, because right under your account balance is all your transaction history. So it's going to show you every purchase you've made. It's going to show you every commission you've received. It's going to show you every time you've tried to withdraw the money.
Thanks.
That answers that? Perfect. Okay. So hopefully, if you have any more questions, go ahead and send them in, because we're going to read those questions before we conclude the call. Let me just check real quick to make sure there's no questions as it pertains to that. So let's just see. Q&A. Looks like we have no questions. So good, great, wonderful. So it looks like you guys are following right along. And so now let's go ahead and look at another area that comes up a lot is, hey, I've got my check, I see that I made $100, but I don't know where this money is coming from or who made those purchases or what happened. How do I see more about my earning history, okay? And so there's an area right under earnings called history. So we're gonna go ahead and click on history. And when we click on history, what's gonna happen, it's gonna show us two different features. One of them is your weekly history, and the other is your unilevel. Now, prior to the month of February, all the commissions were under unilevel. We didn't have a weekly pay system, even though we paid you weekly. It was just called unilevel. But now we have two different types of pay systems. We pay our multi-tier fast start bonus, and that's when you go out and sell a dispensary. We pay that weekly. But when you have customers that are shopping on your website, when you're reaching positions like the Crown Jewel Sapphire or Ruby, we pay all of that monthly, okay? And so in order for you to really navigate and properly find your commissions, you need to know which ones are going to be under weekly and which ones are going to be under the unilevel. So if you have any team sales at all of Crown Jewels, you're going to see those under those weekly checks, okay? In fact, you can go click on view and you can see exactly who made those checks. In fact, clicking on the weekly new multi-tier fast start bonus tab is going to show you, hey, it looks like these came in your level 3 where you actually earned $25 because on your level 3, there was somebody that did a 50% down dispensary. Here's the name of that person, okay? Then this person on your level 5 did a Crown Jewel full product dispensary. So you're able to drill down and really get into the nitty gritty of where this money is coming from, right? So now what we wanna do, we wanna go back, okay? Because that, again, is the weekly check. And all you have to do is when you're looking at weekly, go click on view. When you look on view, there's going to be tabs associated with that. And just remember to click around. A lot of times people just kind of stop, right? Let's click on the next tab and look at what happens. It gives you the full breakdown. So I went through that twice, even though I know I'm going kind of fast, but I'm sure you're all following along. And if you're not, just feel free to ask a question or just say, hey, can you slow it down? Phyllis is there to help me pilot this properly. She'll tell me if I need to slow it down dramatically, okay? And so the next thing I want to do, now that you've kind of understood a little bit about your weekly commissions, let's look at your unilevel, okay? In fact, one of the things I want to do right now, because I know many of you who are on this call, you're founding members of Wakana, which means you get those quarterly checks. The first quarterly check we paid out in the month of January, and that was for the November and the December. Right now, we're about to close out another quarter. We have our January, our February, our March. Those will be paid on April the 15th. So that's something to be excited about for April the 15th. And so what I want to show you, though, is how do you know if you got paid as a founding member? So if you go and look through all your different commission histories, right, and scroll all the way over, see, a lot of times we just kind of get stuck and we're looking at the screen, not realizing we got to scroll over, okay? We got to see more to this story. And if you scroll over, you start to see totals. Like you see a total here for $181, a total there for $108, a total there for $18. So you start to see different totals, okay? But then what I want to do, for those of you who know your founders and know you probably got paid something in January, but you don't know what, you would have gotten paid that most likely the week of January 3rd through January the 9th is when you would have seen that on your check. And how do you know that? Well, let's take a look. If I scroll all the way over, I see something called adjustment. 9 times out of 10, when you see an adjustment, it's either because you are a Crown Jewel and you're getting a check for being over 10,000 or more, and perhaps we had to make an adjustment for that particular month, or it's because you're getting a founder member's check. Those are typically the two reasons why we go in and put adjustments. And you can see here that this distributor had an adjustment given to her for $56.40. That was added to her commission check. And so you might wonder, well, let's see the breakdown. What is that for? So if we go click on view, so now we want to view that check. And if we click on view, of course, there's the unilevel checks. Now the unilevel checks basically mean these are the shopping, the retail purchases that are being made by your team on their websites, their customers on their websites. So unilevel refers to all that shopping that's happening by your group on their websites. And so you can come and see, wow, Vibrant Health, had some shopping and this person had shopping. So you can look and see some of the breakdowns and see, wow, I earned $13 in overrides off of some shopping done by my team. Now, if you are a crown jewel for that month, you're going to also notice a bonus pool. You're also going to be at, one second, it's a call. Let me turn off my phone, put it on silent, right? And so you're also going to notice there's a unilevel new multi-tier fast start bonus. This particular area here is basically a check that was rolled over from a previous check, because back then we were still doing the unilevel that way. Now you're going to see that only on a weekly basis, right? But back then we were still doing the unilevel fast start multi-tier bonus on the same checks. Hope that's not too confusing, but it just basically means starting in the month of February, we break them out into 2 different checks. And so because I'm looking at an old check, we're seeing everything rolled together in one, okay? So we're gonna see the unilevel, we're gonna see the bonus pools, we're gonna see the fast start bonuses for selling dispensaries, because this is an old check that I'm looking at, okay? And so now if we go to unilevel rebate bonus basically means if she would have made purchases on her own website or had customers purchase on her website that particular period, that would be a unilevel rebate bonus. But adjustments is what we're looking for. We want to see what kind of bonus she received for being a founding member. And look at this, it says, congratulations, you've received your November, December founding member payout. It tells you what the amount of the November shares were, and it talks about what your total payout was. So this distributor received $56.40 as a founding member of Wakana. How cool is that? And so every one of you can go to your history and you're going to be able to see what you were paid for being a founding member if you did it during the month of November and December and were eligible for the very first payout. Otherwise, you have to wait to April and see what those checks look like. So another thing that I want to do real quick is we want to break down a current check, okay? So again, on the new unilevel, we're not going to see those fast start bonuses, right? Because those are going to be on the weekly check. So let's go ahead and look at the new way it's being paid out in the month of February. Now you see I can click on the tab and there's nothing there, right? Because those checks are being removed and paid out separately. So as we break down her check, what I want to look at first, again, is unilevel. Unilevel bonuses basically are the overrides on the shopping that your team is doing on their websites, okay? It's all their customers. And you can see for this particular check, this particular distributor earned $145.03 for the overrides happening. And look at this, you can see what exactly is happening, you know, what her team was qualified as, how much volume they had, what percentage she qualified for, and what the total earnings were. And so all of this goes down all the way through. If you're qualified, you can go all the way through to 7 levels, right, of compensation plan. And so now that you've seen that, there's one other area that comes up a lot. And that area is, okay, I know that I've had customers purchasing on my website. I can go see my rebate bonus. Remember when it says unilevel rebate bonus, that's that 20 to 40+% you earn on your own shopping or when customers shop on your website. That's your rebate. So when you go look at the breakdown on this particular check, you're here, you see that you've had 182 points, right? You see that you were qualified at 20%, that you've earned $36, but again, you're not seeing your customers. Now, because there's so much data, and there's so much data the system has to keep track of, this is the one area that if you want to see all of those shoppers and what they did, you have to take one more step, okay? And so you want to write this down because I know this is going to be a question. Your team is going to be like, hey, I see I earned $40, but I don't know what it's for, okay? And so let's go ahead and take a quick look at where you can go to get a breakdown of this. Now, the first thing that you have to be mindful of is what period you're in. And obviously, we can see that we're in the period of February the 1st through February the 29th. So now we're going to go to My Team. And when I click on My Team, I'm going to go down to Data Viewer. Now, Data Viewer is something you're probably already very familiar with. If for those of you who've taken certification, Phyllis does a phenomenal job of going over the Data Viewer. But there's often times when something we already know could hold the answer to something that we're trying to figure out. And this is one of those situations, okay? And so the first thing we want to do, we can either go here and we can select the period, right? Now, one of the easier things to do, you can select the period. So here I just selected from February 1st through February 29th. Here's the thing you have to be very careful of. You have to make sure you select the right period if you're looking for a specific result, right? And so I selected the period of February the 1st through the 29th. Now you might notice when it's the rebate bonus, that bonus applies to what? Your personal volume. And so if you go and look at her personal volume, you're going to notice the fact that she had points earned, and that basically means how much of her shopping qualified for points that accumulate in the comp plan. Some of it could have been for tickets to our Vegas event. Some of it could have been t-shirts and banners. There are certain things that legally we're not able to pay commissions on, right? So it shows you she had 261 points. But then there's something called CV. What is CV? CV represents your commissionable volume. What is the volume you actually get paid commissions on? And so after removing, of course, the Vegas conference tickets and all those things that are not commission eligible, she actually had 182 points of CV. Now, if you're still remembering that last screen that I showed, where she had 102 CV, she got 20% of that, and that equaled about $36 in checks. And so it's matching up, right, with exactly what it shows here in your data viewer. But to see those customers, what do you need to do? You need to click on that 182 CV. So if you just click on 182 CV, voila, it shows you all the sales and all the related CV attached to those sales. It talks to you, and if you click on this particular one here, what's going to be different when you click on points earned, it's still the same people, but it just shows you now the full dollar amount spent. Because again, there's a points earned, and then there's your commissionable volume. If you click on this one right here, because you might want to know, well, what were some of the other things purchased? I can tell you right now that she purchased 2 tickets to the Las Vegas event. So those events were not commissionable. So that's why her sales volume was much higher, because she had a few $100s in there of things that are not a part of the compensation plan, okay? And so you can click on all of those, and it's going to show you the story. So again, you can click on points earned, sales volume, CV, but the bottom line is you can actually see exactly who made those purchases. Even you can go as far as hitting order number, and the order number will show you what they purchased. So you can even go see, well, my customer purchased some CBD seasoning oil, some Power Relief. Again, as we say all the time, the system is powerful. It contains and holds lots of information. The challenge is it's a learning curve, right? And many of us are still inside of that learning curve. And so with that being said, Phyllis, I know, you probably have some questions or some comments. And so I'm going to first let you kind of take it from here and let me know of anything else we might need to go over.
I am blown away. I'm excited because you showed me some things I didn't even know. So I know the team is excited. Basically, I think giving us any more than this right now until we go and play with it and click on things, I think that would be an overkill. But I think I want to go and just click on some of these things, actually see how it works, because unless we take this information right now and go mess around with it, we will be forgetting it again. And I'm sure that we'll have another one, and I'll be able to do the same presentation. So is anybody else out there have any questions? I see a raised hand. I'm Mitchell. To all panelists, how do I sign into my e-wallet if I never, let me see. Is that your, oh, I can't. Let me see if I can open her question up. So Melissa, I can't see the question.
Oh, let's see if I can see it. Let me see if I can see it here. And let's assume then, if we can't see your question.
Here it is. How do I sign into my e-wallet if I never set up an account? Well, if you are a distributor, you already have an account. And when you go to e-wallet, it's going to be the last 4 digits. When you click on e-wallet, your ID number is going to be the last 4, your PIN number is going to be the last 4 digits of your ID. And so when you go to your site in your back office under profile to the right top hand corner, you are able to see what your ID number is, and that's the 4 last digits. It did not work. Well, maybe we can work with you after this and see what's happening. Why don't you type your phone number in there and I'll give you a call.
Yeah, and if you send the email to support too, they'll be able to reset it for you. And what we also find is some of the new people signing up, it asks you to pick a pin, and sometimes they don't pick a pin. And what's happening is some people don't have a wallet created. Well, every time we run a commission, we force wallets, which means everybody now has a wallet. So you can probably go back there and see your money. Your problem now is you just don't know your pin. So Phyllis, yeah, get together. But if you guys send that message in, we'll get that changed, where it will be the last 4 digits of your account number. So if anyone else is having the same problem, because that's one of the biggest things probably we work on every day, probably 3 to 4 people a day just don't know how to get their PIN. It doesn't work. The last 4 digits for whatever reason isn't working. So we see that happening over and over. So I'm assuming out of this group, there's probably a big portion of you that for whatever reason, your PIN isn't working. So send that email to support@wakana.com. If you send it now, we'll make sure in the next hour or so, we'll pay priority to that. If you send it after right now, just know it'll be done within 24 hours. Well, we will personally reset your PIN number to be the last 4 digits of your ID number, okay?
So remember, support@wakana. Are there any more questions? I can't believe there are no more questions.
Somebody says if a new associate, can they get paid if they've not completed Wakana University? You can get paid because remember your first 30 days, you're in a test drive mode. So your first 30 days, we allow you to get paid. Sometimes people use that money to upgrade, to pay for the universities. So yes, but one of the things you must do before you get your check is you have to fill out a 1099 form. So we need that on file before you pick up your first check. Somebody asked Phyllis, are there videos on site to refer a potential customer? That's another question I see. I see some other comments too. Are you seeing these questions?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it says, so are there videos on site to refer to a potential customer? Well, we have our 5-minute overview on our website, which is more geared towards the opportunity, not so much the products. So what do we say on that, Phyllis? I guess we can work out.
The other thing that I send out Dr. Allen's. Those are the 2 videos I share with people. So it gives them a little bit about CBD and what the benefits are. And then it also lets them know with our 5-minute video, the opportunity. And I could get great results from that because then people want to know, well, I know from that whether they are more interested in the product or being a customer, or being in the business or both.
Yes, excellent. So the cannabis advisory, that's the video, right? Is that the one?
Yes, the cannabis advisory. I will put those 2 videos on the Facebook page again after we get off this call. But those are the 2 videos that I send out, and that's everybody that I am prospecting in my business.
Perfect. And somebody's asking if they can ask a question that's not back office subject. Any question's fine. So you can ask a question, and as long as we feel it's appropriate, we're going to read it out loud. So just ask whatever you feel you need to ask. Somebody else ask a question about, let's see here.
Oh, I see the question. I see, how do I calculate the amount of my commission on a given sale? Well, if you're talking about on your anything coming out of your Crown Jewel pack, you're at after your first one, you're probably at a 50% profit margin. And so you get that money yourself because you have the product. But then on your site or anything else you sell from your site, begin from $0 to $4.99, you're at 20%. And then it goes up to 25%. At $1,000, you are at 30%. And it goes up to 2,500, and that's when you go to the 40%. Help me out, Melissa. The 40% on the website.
Yeah, you're doing great.
45%. So those are the numbers that you get when you're shopping. I mean, it's called, it accumulates. You get higher commissions as your volume accumulates. So it might take a minute to build up your website volume, but you will eventually. Especially, I see more and more customers. I was blown away after you talked this morning, Melissa. I went and looked at my numbers because for the last week, I haven't felt like doing anything. I could not believe the numbers that people are putting in, and a lot of those are customers. People love our products, guys.
Amen. Amen. And it was that graduated pay scale is the reason why we had to change it to monthly for the shopping, because so many people were hitting over $500. But if they didn't do it in 1 week, it was almost like the system was penalizing them. So by giving you guys the whole month and waiting to pay it out after the month is over, we're able to pay you out much bigger checks, which, to me makes sense. Pay out bigger checks. So,
and also, I have a question here. Is this recorded for later review? Melissa is recording it. And I'm sure it will be put in on our Facebook page, but we can also add it to the file so that you can have access to it, as well as who else? Will this demo be added? So that's the same question. Will this record it for later, or will this demo be added to the Wakana for Life files? It will, Terry Anderson.
And someone's asking about the free test drive. So do they really get paid? Yes, absolutely. As long as they filled out the free test drive, which means they can't just go enroll for free. They got to make sure they've enrolled for the free test drive, which means they're going to show not as an associate, but they're going to show as a free agent. So as long as you've helped someone go through the process, properly enroll them, they've registered for the free test drive, their business will accumulate commissions. And when they go in to request their wallet commissions, we pay them out their commission. So first they would be eligible for weekly commissions, which would be selling a dispensary. So if they sold a dispensary during that first 30 days, yes, they would get any of those commissions. Now the unilevel shopping money doesn't happen until the next month, but whatever they accumulated for those first 30 days, they were within that test drive mode. So they still would have a check when the check pays out the following month. Now, after the 30 days, the money stops accumulating. So it's important that you ensure whoever you're enrolling or whoever's enrolling, make sure you go and select a SKU, which is free test drive, okay? And if your system is not showing free agent, so you've done something wrong during the sign-up process.
Also, my e-wallet cash account is saying 0, even though I have money in my account.
Say that again.
My e-wallet cash account is saying 0, even though I have money in my account.
Who is the, or well, let me look into it. Maybe we can go check and see for you what's going on. You might have requested it and maybe you're waiting on the check.
Mom Mitchell is what I see. The last name maybe is Mitchell.
I'm trying to find the question. Let's see here. So yeah, so we can look at your specific scenario, but it could be a case that sounds like if you have money that, now here's the thing. Now, up until the month of November, we paid checks out manually. So you can go to your commission history, you'll see a lot of checks that might've been accumulating up until November. We started the check where we started the wallet system in the month of November. Okay, so I know that came up before with some other distributors because they weren't aware that it was a new process. So we had already given them checks on all the old money. So we'll audit yours to see what you're talking about, but yeah, that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, this is the same one person that has never set up her account. It didn't work.
Gotcha. Okay. So if they're telling you your security question is wrong, we can also reset that for you. So that's a support@wakana.com question. Just send that in. We'll get all that reset for you. In fact, we're working with our support team right now. So if you do it in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll assure you that all those that you send in will get resolved within the hour. After that, give us 24 hours, okay?
Anyone else? I don't see any more questions, but anybody else out there?
Below is the founders pool and rank pool money in the same pool? No. Founders pool and rank pool is totally separate. So if you're looking for pool money, so when we were doing the training early on, I showed you an area that says adjustments. Your founder's check will always show up in your adjustments. So if you were in the business and qualified for a founder's check for November and December, go check for the period of January 3rd through January 9th. There should be an adjustment there. And that's when you click on the view and now go to adjustments, you'll be able to see the breakdown of your founder's checks. If you're new in the business and you haven't received your first founder's check, January, February, March, April is when you're going to be able to go look for your founder's check and it will be under the adjustments tab, not the bonus tab. Okay, somebody says missed the information about exactly what points mean. So let's address that. So points, okay? You have 3 different terminology, so it can get a little bit confusing. You have sales volume, and this is basically every dollar that happens in your organization. It could be tickets, it could be t-shirts, it could be a lot of things that are non-commissionable. That's your sales volume, okay? Your points are basically means what points we award you to allow you to qualify for certain ranks, okay? People want to go to Sapphire, they want to go to Ruby, they want to go to Emerald. That's all about points. Most everything you do gives you a dollar for dollar point value. That means if you spend $998 on a package, we're giving you actually 1,000 points for that. If you spend $79.95 on him premium, we're giving you 79 points, 79.95 points. So most every dollar you spend will equivalent or will be the same equivalent in points. The only exception is if it's convention tickets and things like that that we can't allow to go in there. Those won't accumulate, okay? So hopefully that clarifies. Your points are what you try to push for to achieve rank. Your sales volume is just everything thrown in the bucket.
The new customer email from customer support does not have customer name or email. Can that be fixed?
Yes, and so that's basically a glitch within the system that we've been trying to address, and you're right. So you get a notice, hey, I got a customer, but you don't know who they are. So just know that's something we're working on, and we'll let everyone know once it is resolved. But yes.
Anybody else? I don't see anyone.
Okay, great. Looks like there's just other comments. And how do we know if Wakana has our 1099 on file? Let's see here. We will get that. That's a great question. We have a team that handles that, so we'll have to ask them that question. But we do have a database on file. So, and maybe what they probably should start doing is if you don't have it on file, they need to send you a notification, because at some point your commissions will get held. So that's a great question. I'll follow that up with our team that handles that so that they'll get on it.
And so what website do I go for support? That would be an email. So you want to email support@Wakana, and whatever your issues are that you shared here, put them in the email and send it to support@wakana.com. There's no website.
And then someone's asking, what is the full value of the full Crown Jewel refill package? And I know you know that too, so you want to tell
$1,000,
yes.
Because you're not getting your business box, and so you don't have to get the toolbox. So you get full $2,000 in retail product. So that's $1,000 profit back to you, 50% profit.
Yep, and someone's asking about a customer who made a purchase on 3/8, but it's not showing up. Is it showing too soon? So that, well, if I shut the screen down, I can go check on that for you. 1 second, let me just hit stop showing screen. Okay, so basically, because when you ask that question, I think you're just right at the cutoff. So I believe the 8th is starting a new period. So I don't believe that's back there yet. So let me just verify that, so that any of you might, because that was a question that came up with a couple of the distributors. Hey, I'm looking for this check, I'm looking for that check, but it was just because they were too early. So 1 second, let me just check that for you, and then we'll clarify. Let's see. I'm just in the admin account, so that's why I had to stop the screen. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so the period that cut off on 3/6 was the period that you can actually see right now. That period is actually funding as we speak. So in the next probably hour or so, many of you will receive more money added to your wallet, okay? Once that funds, the next period will show up, which would be the period of 3/7 through like 3/14, so yes, you're correct. You're just a couple of days too early. Well, actually it's gonna show up sometime tonight. So hopefully that answers your question.
Any other questions? Do you need 3 new customers to receive a founder's bonus? It can be the same 3 customers if you want. Just 3 customers per month, and you can be one of them. Anybody else?
On anything. So I'm assuming they're referring to your loyalty points. Your loyalty points can be used on product, but the challenge is you can't do a split payment. So you would have to use it for, well, you know what? They might have fixed that. But yeah, you can shop for anything with your loyalty points right now. When will we get more pure water soluble? The first week of April, right, Phyllis?
Yes, that's what they're promising us. And that is, we can only share with you what our distributor tells us, So they're promising that for April. Okay.
No, but points can't be used for money though. Yeah, points have to be used on products only. So yeah, so I'm glad you clarified that. But yeah.
Okay.
And people even use their loyalty points for their tickets when they were buying tickets for events. So yeah, it really lets you use it on whatever. Okay. So with that being said, I think we got them all, Phyllis.
I think so. Wait a minute. What's a rebate bonus?
The rebate bonus is basically if you shop on your own website, that 20%, it's a rebate because it's your website. It's almost like you're getting cash back on your purchase. So it's just clarifying that it's money we're giving you on your own purchases. So that's why it says rebate, but some of it is also customers where it's a true commission. But either way, we pay it the same. So whether you call it rebate or commissions, it's still cash. So it's just a technicality on how that programmers did that.
Okay.
And where do I access Wakana files? You can access those on Wakana for Life, but I don't know that we have every file there. We need to probably start putting more files there. But Wakana for Life under files. If you go to your Facebook page, Wakana for Life, there's a files tab that gives you access to PowerPoints, training, presentations, a lot of literature, and we're gonna make it a goal to keep putting new stuff there so that you can always have the newest information on our Facebook group page.
And we're going to also clean up some of the stuff that's back there that does not apply anymore. Thank you, Dr. Smith, Betty.
Yes, and thank you guys. Thank you so much for your great comments. We see some comments and we love you too. We love you all. We see some nice, great, awesome comments, great feedback. Glad you guys enjoyed this. Hey, we have to show up and do it again, Phyllis. Sounds like this is a win. We need to keep the information flowing.
I have one other question. Under add view orders, I have orders fulfilled and delivered, but the portal is showing pending.
They've already delivered?
Yeah, that's what it says. Under add/view orders, I have orders fulfilled and delivered, but the portal is showing pending.
Oh, here's probably why. We have a situation in ShipStation. That's our shipping portal. That literally sometimes people's orders get partially filled, which means we might send out 90% of the order, but maybe we owe them 2 bags of gummies. So because of a fear of not letting anything fall through the crack, there's been a backlog where there's a lot of orders that just haven't cleared. So if they've already delivered, you're good. And just know that the team will be in there manually. I know that was one of the things that we're working on last week, trying to clear out those orders. So yeah, but that's more of an internal problem we know that exists. But yeah, the key is as long as they've got the products, great, right? That's our goal, get them the products. But thank you for that. Mm-hmm.
Well, with the Illinois stay-at-home order, will that affect shipping? There's somebody there working right now, and we don't intend to because we are an essential business. People need our product.
Yeah, and we have managed the situation extremely well where we've made several phone calls from some of our other manufacturers to kind of figure out what the plan is. And so a lot of the companies we're dealing with, especially the ones that are, manufacturing cannabis products that are going to some of these dispensaries, products that are going to other pharmacies and health food stores, right? You are considered an essential part of what keeps the country going, right? People want their products. I mean, the world would probably go crazy if they didn't have access to good CBD to keep the anxiety at bay. And so we have managed it by allowing one of our workers to be there in the operations staff. And if anyone comes to try to pick up products, we've been discouraging that, but we've had some people that show up. And so they actually put the product on the elevator and send the product down for them to pick it up. And beyond that, we actually have implemented something with our programmers where it's going to force people to have to do a ship product where it has to get shipped to you. So just know that's coming soon where you're going to have it shipped out. But until that happens, for those of you who have done pickups, and I know many of you on the line who've done pickups, just know that we have really stringent policies in place where we have one person there, so we can't overwhelm that one person who's trying to fulfill the whole world. And that's just a way of practicing social distancing at its best. Most companies can't have one person at a facility running the show. Luckily with us, because we have quarantine and put all of our other workers, where they're working at home, because we have a business, thank God, that we can also do it from home. Our customer service team, when you call the 888 number, the way we have it set up, you're actually calling into someone who's actually working at home, fulfilling the orders, okay, or fulfilling the needs. Our computer staff, our graphic staff, every one of them works. The only person that we have there is one of our operation team members who's filling an essential role of having to get these products out, whether it's some of our suppliers that need products, whether it's a pharmacy that needs products, whether it's you guys that needs products. They're performing a very, very essential role. And that will continue, right, at least for the next week, which is why we're encouraging people to stock up on your products, right? Because every day, the scenario changes. We've been in close contact with all of our manufacturers, all the ones who are helping us and working with us. And right now, this is the way we're rolling it out.
Specifically, what products can we use points to make purchases on? That would be any product that we have. If you have royalty points, you can use them to purchase product. And so let me just tell you some of the good ones before we end. Keisha Townsend says, I'm so proud to be a part of Wakana. Elaine says, awesome sauce, awesome collaborating working session, Sam says. So I'm glad we did this, Melissa. I'm thinking that we need to do this more often. And so I just appreciate a CEO that hears what's being asked for and then goes out and does exactly what you did today. Thank you so much.
Wow, I appreciate you, Phyllis. As always, you are the best co-pilot, okay? Thank you. Thank you all. We love you all. Be safe. Stay at home. Let's follow this stay shelter in place, everybody. Unless you're essential to the workforce, then get out there but be safe. And we're going to pray for you. And we're thankful for your service. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. See you next.